So that was the previous video. Now we are back with the same product design and frame, but drastically different material specification and technique. So to summarize it, what we did in a previous video, we made a replica of Muros'chair created by domohomo design in Spain. So we made a chair out of solid wood with four legs, a seat with diagonal grains and curved back. And for legs, we used a tan and mortise joinery, also wedge locking system for legs. So the main difference between this chair and the previous one, we replace solid wood in seat and rear legs. We made seat and rear legs of plywood cores actually. While the front leg and back are of solid wood, it's the same, but we used different joinery and a different technique this time. So let's get started with the construction. No specific changes have been made to the working drawing because we are building the same chair. All of the parts have the same dimensions. Therefore, we will begin by pasting plywood. While I expose the plywood cores, I am using 16 mm thickness of plywood with the size of 36 mm, and I will clamp them together to create a flat panel. Next, I will calibrate the thickness of the panel with surface planner, and our panels will be ready for shaping and making. This time I'm making two chairs. So I started with the rear legs and seat firstly. I also plan extra leg support because this one is made of plywood cores rather than solid wood. I hope it works well during assembly. So for the seat joinery, I am using diagonal plywood cores and 8 mm wood slit to separate the joints, and tongue and groove joinery to connect both panels, so just like the previous one, and clamping with hydraulic press again. Since we used talent motorized joinery for legs and seat connection last time, and I'm thinking to improvise it with dovetail joinery. So I planned uh, joinery sample, and I attempt it with multiple dimensions, which is more complicated actually than I anticipated. But at the end, it worked and feels sturdy.
First, let's start with the legs. I'm using vertical clamping method that I created and discussed in a previous video, and it functions quite well. The rear legs are prepared for assembly. The seat chamfering and dovetail joinery come next, after which I flip the seat over and give it a curved shape for better comfort and aesthetics.
So our next part is front leg and a curved back in a solid wood. It has a cantilever back which is only supported by front legs. So we will start with the front legs. Front legs are same as the previous one. No changes are made. I made some changes in a curved back joinery system. I replaced a puzzle joint with a flat edge due to two reasons. First, the puzzle joint may break due to grain orientation at the time of assembling, and I made some resist corner in replacement of puzzle joint. The reason behind the resist corner, at the time of nesting, the corner may break, so the resist corner may stand later at the time of finishing. And I also add some extra chamfering details in the back. Using same vertical clamping method on CNC to create tannons for front legs, it is very satisfying to watch. In order to cover dovetail holes after leg assembly, I needed a small part. So I thought of different material to expose it as a design element. Or perhaps you could say I was inspired by a back of a sports car. It might be a Lamborghini Gallardo or Jaguar XJ220. And then it broke. Total joinery fails and plywood pours, and leaving me unsure what to do with the broken chair. I took a quick break to regroup and came up with a plan, starting with pasting broken pieces of chair.
Next, I clamped the seat on a CNC, creating 10 grooves and added wooden sleeves to give it a more strength. Next, I redesigned the rear leg joinery system, which I replaced with dowels. So I'm making a pocket and clamping a solid wood piece in it to make a half left joint while trying to keep it in the same place. I reclamped the seat for the final joinery system, which is tan and more ties with exposed dowels on the upper side of the seat.
I was not sure about using dotted joinery in plywood, but this time I'm confident and that it will work. Now we are back with assembly, finger crossed. In beginning, I struggled with the real legs, but at last it worked perfectly. All pieces joined together neatly. Now let's wait until glue dries. morning, another day with the chair. Let me remove all the clamps and let me review the chair before moving to the next stage, which is sanding and finishing.
So there is one more complication I notice. There is a jump when I apply pressure to the chair and I compare it to the previous chair which is stable and durable and has no jump. So because of plywood core I guess now I'm thinking about another possible solution. This joint is weaker due to plywood cores rather than solid wood joint.
So I can't make any changes to the joinery system. So I'm considering adding an extra support, external support that also integrates with the chair frame and design.
For testing, I clamp both legs and then apply pressure to it and it now appears stable. Finally, I decided to construct an additional metal support out of 14 round bar. Begin by shaping and bending the round bar, then mark its position on the chair. After shaping and making the bars, it's time to paint them. They are very rusty, so let me remove the rust before spraying paint, which I prefer to use in matte black. Then I started sanding and will install matter bar after sanding. Finishing a chair is a time consuming and detailed process. So we begin by sanding while checking and filling the cavity of the plywood core. Then sanding again with an orbital sander, changing different grids of sandpaper, and finally hand sanding until I achieve the desired finish. Then I decided to stain the plywood cores. So I made a sample with black stain and a walnut stain, and I prefer black stain. So in our next stage, I don't want to stain the joinery system that we reinvented. So I'm covering all the exposed wooden parts with masking tape. Stainer has a very thin density, so even after covering it, there are still stainer marks which I have to wipe out away with thinner.
So finally we complete the project and I love it personally. I love this chair. We faced so many complications in the beginning, but somehow we managed and we finally complete the chair. It's a great experience for me and I learned so many lessons in this project. So I hope you like it too. And if you like it, let me know in comment section and make sure you subscribe the channel. So bye, see you in the next video.